This game gives us a huge amount of freedom before a round even starts. We can pick a class, build a loadout, swap gear, and shape a kit around how we want to play. And freedom usually sounds like a pure win, but in Battlefield, too much freedom can quietly remove one reason squads even exist at all. If one soldier can handle infantry, armor, long-range fights, ammo, revives, and scouting all from one ideal setup, class choice now starts losing weight, and our loadout becomes a personal wish list instead of a role. Which is why Battlefield is better when one player cannot solve every problem alone. A limit can be frustrating for 5 seconds, but it can also make a squad mate valuable for an entire round. If I pick engineer, I should feel ready for vehicles but give up some sort of comfort somewhere else. Picking support should give me an advantage at keeping a push alive, while a tank can still force me to rely on somebody nearby. And Recon should give our squad information nobody else can provide as easily, while Assault should be able to break open a defense, but it should not also become our best medic, vehicle killer, scout, and long-range specialist all at once. Because Battlefield 6 already has a class system built around roles like it. Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon have signature gear, perks, and weapons designed around the job. At a similar time, most standard modes use open weapons, so any class can equip any weapon type, and I actually like a lot of freedom in a modern FPS. I just don't want freedom to erase trade-offs, because a class only feels meaningful when picking it closes a few doors while opening new ones. And when every player has a gap, squad play can happen naturally instead of needing a giant prompt telling us to cooperate. And for me, it's one of Battlefield 6's most interesting long-term balancing problems. How much freedom can we have before classes start feeling cosmetic? A class icon means very little if our real job barely changes after a swap. Good class design should change how we read a fight. An engineer sees a tank and sees a job. Support sees a few down teammates and sees a chance to save a push. Recon sees a blind route and can turn uncertainty into information, while Assault sees a stalled entrance and has tools aimed at getting a squad moving again. Same fight, 4 different priorities, and none of our roles need to be weak outside one narrow task. Specialization is not about forcing a player into one boring action for 20 minutes. It's about giving each class a reason to exist when a squad hits a problem, and EA's current class setup already leans in a similar direction. Assault gets an adrenaline injector plus perks aimed at aggressive movement and objective pressure. Engineer can repair vehicles, place mines, take out enemy vehicles. Support carries resupply and revive tools designed for sustained fights, and Recon gets scouting tools plus automatic spotting tied to its class identity. So class choice already goes far beyond the uniform, but open weapons create an interesting tension because most modes let any class equip any weapon category. An engineer can use an assault rifle, support can use a sniper, Recon can carry gear normally used for close range combat, and I understand why Battlefield 6 allows it, because people get attached to a favorite gun. Some players hate being forced into a weapon family just because a vehicle rolled into view. Open weapons also let a squad respond to a map or mode while keeping a class gadget it currently needs. So I'm not asking Battlefield 6 to remove open weapons across every playlist. A flexible option belongs in Battlefield, but class identity needs enough weight to survive all of its freedom, and a signature weapon bonus is one smart way to do it, because Assault can still use different gun, but an assault rifle fits its job better because class bonuses support aggressive handling. Engineer can carry any weapon in open playlists, yet SMGs get a class bonus aimed at close range control. Support gets a perk for LMG use. Recon gets sniper benefits suited for long range work. A setup like it doesn't say you're banned from trying a new gun, it just says you can use it, but your class has a natural home. And I like a balance like it because a recommendation can feel better compared to a hard restriction. We still get freedom, but every class keeps a center of gravity, and once a class has a clear center, loadout choices become much more interesting. So say a squad is pushing across a wide area and enemy armor keeps shutting down a road. I can stay on assault because I love my rifle, but now my squad still needs a real answer for armor. If I swap to engineer, I gain tools aimed at solving a problem like it. Now I am giving up some assault advantages in exchange for a new job, because a choice like it has meaning because I can't carry every class advantage at once. No engineer? Then enemy armor may become a real problem. No support? Then a hard push can run out of revives and supplies fast. And no assault? Then breaking a defended position may take more patience. A simple class lineup can tell a story before a fight starts, and once players fill gaps on instinct, then Battlefield starts creating teamwork even if nobody has a mic, because no formal plan is needed. One player sees a tank, swaps engineer, and starts handling it. A support main notices a group going down near cover and keeps people alive. Recon feeds spots into a lane. Assault takes advantage of a new opening. Nobody had to call a meeting. Each role simply gave one player a reason to care about a different problem. And limits are doing work here because a missing ability creates demand for a teammate, and demand creates interaction. But each class needs one or two jobs where a rival single class simply cannot match its value. Engineer repairing vehicles is a great example, and Battlefield 6 makes Engineer unique here. If our tank is damaged and no engineers around, our crew absolutely feel its absence. Now class choice matters before a gun is even fired. Support has a similar identity around sustained squad play. Revives, resupply, and defensive utility let a support player keep a fight alive in a way an aggressive class cannot fully copy. Recon turns information into an advantage, and Assault can lean into mobility plus objective pressure. Clear specialties make a squad feel like a set of parts instead of 4 copies of one ideal soldier. Battlefield 6 supports playlists where each class only uses its signature weapon family. Assault gets assault rifles, Engineer gets SMGs, Support get LMGs, and Recon gets sniper rifles. And I can see why some Battlefield players prefer it. A class silhouette starts carrying more meaning because weapon role and class role line up, and it makes classes easier to read overall. But strict weapon locks also create problems. Maps change, modes change, one class can end up needing a gun poorly suited for a current sector, one support main may want to keep reviving a squad on a huge open map, but hate using LMG at a certain range, an engineer may be forced into close range weapon behavior even if a vehicle fight happens across a wide open field, and if a player dislikes one weapon family, then class lock gear can make a useful squad role feel like a chore. So I don't need to see open versus closed weapons as a simple right or wrong debate. I care about one result, and that's, does one class choice still change our behavior? If open weapons keep flexibility while signature bonuses, gadgets, traits, field specs preserve a real role, then I'm fine using open playlists. If freedom gets so broad that class selection barely affects our decisions, then Battlefield will lose some identity. And closed playlists are useful because Battlefield 6 can test a stricter version for players who want it. Having 2 playlist styles may be one of our best compromises, but even in open modes, class identity needs constant protection because live service games naturally add more gear over time. Every new gadget can blur a role. Every new weapon can reduce a class weakness. A balance update can accidentally turn one class into a safe pick for almost every map. So class design needs regular attention beyond damage values. A bad upgrade says, here's one more reason you no longer need a teammate. And a gap like it matters a lot in a game built around squads, because it also changes how a bad spawn feels. If I die to a tank while playing support, my reaction shouldn't always be, wow, support needs a tank killer. Sometimes the correct answer is accepting a class weakens and adapting around it. Maybe I avoid a lane, or stay near cover, or ping armor for an engineer. And a decision like it is part of Battlefield. Not every problem needs a personal answer, and I feel modern multiplayer design can get scared of friction because it has the potential of annoying players. If a player hits a problem and lacks a tool, then instant frustration is easy to measure, but a game built around zero friction can become flat. If I always have a counter in my pocket, then squad composition barely matters anymore. If every gun works for every class at equal value, then class identity becomes a menu label. A little dependency gives cooperation a reason to exist, but the keyword is little. I don't want Battlefield 6 to become a game where solo players are helpless. Most of us will often play alongside random teammates, so a class still needs enough independence to survive, move, win fights, and contribute even if a squad is messy. But independence and self-sufficiency are not identical. Someone on support can defend a room and win fights alone while still needing engineer help against armor. Recon can protect itself at close range while still being best at information. And Assault can support an objective while leaving medic value intact. Good design gives every class personal agency while keeping team gaps visible. And small gaps can make even random squads feel smarter. Visual language has to carry part of our teamwork. Players always want more freedom, and I get it. I like using my favorite weapon too. But Battlefield has a rare advantage because it can make limits fun. A missing tool is not always a flaw. Sometimes it's an invitation for somebody else to matter. A squad becomes memorable when roles fit as a unit for a few minutes. Our engineer handles armor, support keeps a push alive, recon keeps a flank visible, assault uses a gap and gets us onto a flag. Nobody had a perfect loadout. We just had a team covered its own weaknesses. And for me, it feels far more Battlefield compared to 4 players carrying near identical answers for every problem. So Battlefield 6 should not chase total freedom as an end goal. Give us choice inside a role. Let open weapon playlists exist. Keep closed weapons options for players who want a stricter class game, while also protecting real trade-offs. Make signature weapons feel natural for each class. Keep unique gadgets genuinely unique. Use field specs to deepen a job instead of erasing its weak spots. And make class swaps feel like tactical decisions instead of cosmetic changes. Because Battlefield is a squad game even when nobody says a word. And class limits can help make squad play real. Because once one soldier cannot do every job, nearby players stop being extra bodies. We start needing each role for a reason, and when a random squad accidentally covers every gap at one key moment, Battlefield 6 feels better because nobody could have done it all alone. And if you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around. So do you prefer open weapons, closed weapons, or middle ground where signature bonuses carry more weight? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy calm FPS discussions in general, subscribe. Thanks guys.